The Speaker, I thank you for this opportunity that you've given me to also contribute to this bill, the Culture Bill 2024, which has been sent to us from the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, from the onset, I must say it is a bill that perhaps should have been passed much earlier, but now that we have it, we can discuss it, debate it, and breathe some light to it, some life to it. Mr. Speaker, first of all, I want to thank the drafters of the bill for attempting to do a very important thing, to put culture at the center of government. Mr. Speaker, this bill, as captured by the drafters, is drawn from Article 11 of the Constitution on culture. And Mr. Speaker, allow me to say this, that perhaps it's only that now, these days, the Parliamentary Service Commission, and I'm seated next to one of the commissioners here, does not seem to have sufficient resources to do proper facilitation of members, to do proper legislation. I'm not saying this is not proper. Mr. Speaker, I'm just imagining how rich this bill would have been if, as we debate it, we have a report from as far as Paraguay, Mr. Speaker, in South America, where we have a community of the Kamba nation who, for more than 200 years, have stood firm, defended and protected their culture in a foreign land. Speaker, I want to say that when I looked at this bill, one of the things that struck me is that this bill talks almost very casually about the involvement of the county governments, or the role of the county governments in the preservation of culture. But it has gone very, very heavy on the role of the Cabinet Secretary, the national government, on what they should do to preserve culture. Mr. Speaker, you protect me from loud consultation between my colleagues here, and I'm hearing them talking about the Kamba nation. Mr. Speaker, they are not in Mexico, they're in Paraguay. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, the preservation of culture in this day and age will serve us very, very well. You've heard the contribution from my colleague, Senator Manzo and Senator Mugatana. Almost, wishing that we could get back there in those good old days where when we went to school, Mr. Speaker, we were taught to read and write in our mother tongues. And there was nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with that. Out of that, Mr. Speaker, today we are able to read Bibles, and I'm not sure about Quran, but Bibles in our mother tongues. We are able to sing hymns from hymn books written in our mother tongues. We cannot even try that with our children, Mr. Speaker. That aspect of our culture, because, Mr. Speaker, being a student of literature, I believe that language is a carrier of culture. A people who cannot speak a language will be very, very difficult for them, Mr. Speaker, to advance a culture related to that language. So, Mr. Speaker, something needs to be done to improve on our ethnic diversities, the languages that we speak in this country, they enrich our bond. Mr. Speaker, they make us strong. They don't make us, our diversity makes us a stronger nation, a stronger people. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, I would actually be urging that from the onset, sufficient funding should be given to universities to do proper research and development of our cultures. Mr. Speaker,
Senator Wambua, there is a point of order from the minority leader. Senator Mazai.
Asante mstahiki Speaker. Mstahiki Speaker, nataka kujua tu kidogo kutoka kwa ndugu yangu kwamba ametaja wala hakuweza kufafanua kinaga ubaga. Akisema kwamba sote kama wa Kenya tunajua kwamba Wakamba wako katika eneo la Ukambani, Machakos, Kitui, kila mahali. Lakini kutuambia kwamba katika hali ya kwamba Wakamba wako katika nchi nyingine ya Paraguay, na tunajua Wakamba ni wa Kenya, wako ndani ya Kenya, pengine angeweza kufafanua zaidi ili tuweze kujua hawa Wakamba hawa ambao wako Paraguay ni Wakamba gani, na wale Wakamba ambao wako Machakos, Kitui, Mwingi ni wapi, uhusiano umekuwa namna gani? Asante Bwana Speaker.
Senator Wambua, fafanua vile umeomba.
So, Mr. Speaker, I would request, because my leader has sought information which is important, that, Mr. Speaker, if my time is up, then you give me some more time, because I'm spending this time now to educate my leader. Mr. Speaker, let my leader know, and this House know, that in the year 1820, there's a general from Uruguay who came to East Africa looking for compatriots, people to fight on his side. And he was directed to a certain nation, not a community. He was directed to a certain nation residing in East Africa, in Kenya, the southern part of the country, called the Kambas. And when he came, Mr. Speaker, he negotiated with the leaders of the community at that time to be given warriors, men to go and fight with him. Mr. Speaker, whereas most communities in our region went to the Americas and to Europe as slaves, the Kamba warriors that went to Uruguay, though they actually landed in Paraguay, they went there after negotiating a deal with the general that he would take 250 of them, warriors, but they insisted that if we are going, then we are going with our wives, because we don't want to go there and lose our culture. We'll go with our wives, we'll go and fight on your side. If we win this battle, we give you the assurance, and we will win it. If we win this battle, you will give us a piece of land where we will settle with our wives, we will procreate, and we will become members of your community, but we will retain our culture. Mr. Speaker, from that time to date, that community lives in Paraguay. They have retained their culture. In fact, they are known internationally for their culture in terms of music and dance, the drumming and the dancing. The Speaker, that should be sufficient information to my leader. Now I can go back to the bill. And that's what I'm saying, the Speaker, if we are talking about preservation of culture, if we are talking about preservation of culture, then there is a community that has demonstrated ability to preserve culture beyond where they live. Mr. Speaker, allow me to advance my comments on the bill. Part 2 of the bill, Mr. Speaker, it talks about management of culture. And it talks about the development of culture, Mr. Speaker, not inhibiting or struggling culture, Mr. Speaker. So I do expect that the cabinet ministry responsible for culture will take it upon themselves, Mr. Speaker, to help all cultures in this country to develop and to be shared and to be passed on to future generations. Because the wording of the bill, Mr. Speaker, is that the CS is supposed to help promote and rehabilitate those cultures, Mr. Speaker, that are facing the danger of extinction. There is a responsibility on the part of the Cabinet Secretary to help in the rehabilitation of those cultures. I see, Mr. Speaker, the bill talks about national cultural institutions. And what comes to mind, Mr. Speaker, to me is the Bomas of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, the Bomas of Kenya must be the melting pot of Kenyan cultures. That if you go to the Bomas of Kenya, you should have access to all cultural artifacts, cultural heritage, interact with different people from different communities, expressing the Speaker, and developing and popularizing their culture. So whatever is happening at the Bomas of Kenya, the Speaker, I have seen a lot of construction going on there. The Speaker, I hope that that construction will not compromise the need for us to preserve our culture. The Speaker, I would expect that one day, after that construction is done, then a Pokomo will go there and find a Pokomo house, a traditional Pokomo house, and interact with the culture of the Pokomo people. That a Kalenjin will go there and find a traditional Kalenjin hut and interact with the culture of the Kalenjin people, including even the staple foods of our people. The Bomas of Kenya, I reiterate, must remain the melting pot of our Kenyan culture. Whatever modernity, Mr. Speaker, goes in there, we must not lose that aspect. Mr. Speaker, the bill talks about developing mechanisms for restitution and repatriation of illegally acquired cultural property. Mr. Speaker, as we speak today, it is common knowledge that there is a lot of cultural artifacts that were taken away from our country to foreign lands. Mr. Speaker, even including the remains of the man-eaters of Safo. We need those remains here. We need those lions here. They belong to us. They are part of our culture. They are part of our heritage. We need them to be rehabilitated, and that is what the bill is speaking about. As Speaker, as I said, universities must be funded, properly funded, to carry out research and development of culture. The Speaker, Clause 6. I have a small problem, Mr. Speaker, with Clause 6. Because that's the one that assigns roles to county governments. You know, Mr. Speaker, the way we are structured as a country, though there was an argument some other day that we begin to think about renaming our counties. But Mr. Speaker, if you go to Meru County, you'll find that the majority of the people who reside in Meru County are people from the Meru extraction. They have a common history. They have a shared destiny. Mr. Speaker, the roles being assigned to county governments in this bill are too minimal. Mr. Speaker, because Clause 6 is the one that assigns those roles, but then from there on, its reference is made to the Cabinet Secretary, including even the Cabinet Secretary being the one to make a determination on the benefit sharing agreements from proceeds of cultural heritage. Mr. Speaker, this should not be allowed. We want the people of Samburu to be able to decide what value they attach to their cultural heritage without necessarily having to make reference to a Cabinet Secretary who perhaps has never even visited Samburu. The people of the indigenous people must be the ones to attach value to their culture. Once they have attached the value of their culture, they should be the ones to determine levels of access. So that, Mr. Speaker, that role that is being given to the Cabinet Secretary should actually go back to the county government, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the promotion of cultural activities among counties. You know, Mr. Speaker, there is a very interesting conversation that is taking place among the members of the Council of Governors. And the Speaker, I pity that council. Honestly, I pity that council. Because, Mr. Speaker, there are opportunities for great things to discuss and come up with roadmaps that will put this country in the right trajectory. Mr. Speaker, you know, the other day, I was very privileged, Mr. Speaker, to attend a medical camp organized by the kenyanWambua Foundation, which is associated with me, in the Raka ward of Kitui County, which is predominantly occupied by the people from the Raka. And Mr. Speaker, in that camp, I had the privilege and the honor to be a guest during the initiation of young men of the Raka origin. As a Speaker, you look at the beauty and the strength and the resilience of the culture of our people, and you admire it, Mr. Speaker. I wish governors would spend a lot more time to discuss how they can develop this diversity and the richness of their cultures in their own counties, and that put together, then that forms the national culture, instead of sitting and pretending that they can determine who sits in the National Cohesion Committee of the Senate and who does not sit. Mr. Speaker, Clause 8 aligns properly with Article 35 of the Constitution on access to information, and that is okay, Mr. Speaker, that people should be able to access information on culture and cultural heritage. The only problem that I have, Mr. Speaker, begins to arise from Clause 9, because now the Cabinet Secretary in the national government again takes center stage. The clause says that the Cabinet Secretary shall, in consultation with relevant stakeholders and county governments. You see, Mr. Speaker, those of us who are students of linguistics, you know, when you say relevant stakeholders and, it means then the county governments are not relevant stakeholders. They are outside. You know, relevant stakeholders and county governments establish mechanisms for the determination and payment of compensation on royalties. Mr. Speaker, that should not happen. The county governments must be at the center of decision making on what payments and royalties should be for cultures resident in their counties. Mr. Speaker, there is also Clause 9F. It talks about a determination on the amount of investment by a state organ in the culture or cultural heritage. What about, Mr. Speaker, the investment of county governments? Because the county governments are assigned a responsibility to develop cultures. So when you are determining the value of any cultural heritage, Mr. Speaker, then if you are going to consider the investment of the state, you must also consider the investment of the county governments in that culture and cultural heritage. Mr. Speaker, all in all, this is a good bill. A bill whose time, Mr. Speaker, has come. And I want to reiterate that if there are any amendments that the Senate should propose, and I believe that personally we need to propose some amendments to this bill, Mr. Speaker, when it comes to that time, so that we don't make this bill really a national government bill. This is a national bill, not a national government bill. It's a national bill which must consider the input and the benefits accruing to both levels of government, both the national government and the county governments. Mr. Speaker, having said that, I support.
Honorable Senators, I wish to make this communication, then we proceed with the bill. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon, visiting students from the Catholic University of Eastern Africa. The delegation comprises 60 students who are in the Senate for a one-day academic exposition. On behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and wish them a fruitful and enriching visit. Thank you.